It's quite lovely, isn't he? He's a beautiful firetail. Sort of like a very tiny chook that flies. They forage around under the bushes. So you never see them very often because they're sort of gone into the scrub pretty quickly. But they do have to come out to drink a couple of times a day. So at a day and a half of patience, and I got him. Hi there. This is Snowy. She's the co-driver for this long trip from Hobart all the way to Darwin, the other end of Australia. And I'm leaving now. We're taking all the gear up so I can find better paid employment in Darwin in the construction industry. So in the next 10 minutes of this video, I'm going to film out of the truck. I'm going to film all the wildlife along the way, and I'll try to give you a really good idea about the trip from Hobart all the way to Darwin. And stay tuned because, you know, from all reports, one of us is going to get eaten by a crocodile towards the end, I reckon, from what other people are telling me. So stay tuned for that as well. I could describe this journey as a series of points or events along a line. If you want to read it that way, just go and follow the subtitles. But as I'm writing this, the journey is over. I already know the outcome. And it's not a journey between two geographic points, but it's the act of moving on in one's life from one point to another. When we decided to move from Hobart to Darwin, it was met with a range of responses, from the suggestion of failure even, to the more common response, a mixture of fear, envy and excitement. The most interesting response was from a real estate agent friend who said it would be like being 21 again. I had to think this through, but I think he is right. A 21-year-old leaves because change is both necessary and inevitable. If that departure and journey is not made, nothing changes. For us, the boys have grown up, and we as parents are faced with a similar choice of drifting on through midlife into retirement with nothing really changing. And yes, it would be safe and secure to do this, but we do have a choice. To change is to take a risk. It almost involves starting again. But as the line in the Guy Clark song goes, one thing change will always bring is something new. And what that new thing is, we can never know. The further north I head, the more grey nomads I pass, heading south to escape the looming build-up and wet season. But perhaps it is the radical change of climate they flee from, the stable, perfect temperatures being replaced with rolling storms and torrential rains and the constantly changing and unpredictable skies. But it's ironic that the idyllic nature of the dry season weather is totally reliant on the radical weather conditions during the wet season. Perhaps most things in life have to change to remain the same. The Outback desert country, the red centre, is presented in popular Aussie big city culture as the severe, relentless place that has survived only and is populated by desperate, angry men on the fringe of a cultured world. The roadhouses along the way as islands of safety in an alien land. You know, on visiting this country for the first time, I find the opposite is actually the case. The country is constantly changing and interesting. The temperatures in September are very agreeable, and the people in the roadhouses are happy, normal Aussies. Oh, plus a few British backpackers. Most things in Tassie are smaller, but the wedge-tailed eagles in Tassie are much, much bigger. They're also a majestic bird, flying high in the air and perching high in the trees. These mainland wedge-tailed eagles are a lesser species altogether. In arriving at a destination, the beginning of the journey is also invariably altered in the memory. Hobart to me was my home, a safe, secure place of familiar things with perhaps an ordinary regularity. On reaching the destination, Darwin, Hobart has become even more a sleepy little town where nothing ever changes because people just like it that way, I guess. Change is something that Tasmania does not like, yet change is what moves us forward and gives us purpose. After a week in Darwin, I see Tasmania even more as a retirement home and wilderness theme park. A great place to live if you have a secure income, and an even better place to die. As little change as possible is the constant state in Tasmania. For every proposal, a continuous stream of seemingly rational reasons are presented why there should be no change. Tassie really is a don't-do sort of state. The journey has led me not to an imagined destination, but to an actual place. The Darwin of today is not the Darwin I remember from the early 1980s. The ramshackle dwellings, interesting characters, and Aboriginals living rough have been replaced by high-rise apartments, marinas, and endless palm trees. The Darwin of today is more Miami than Outback Australia. Whilst it is connected physically to the rest of the country, it longs to be another world. The blue singleted Aussies and Aboriginals have been joined by every other culture from around the world in a really unique mix. Constant change seems to be the natural state of this place. The buildings, the roads, even the people are in constant state of change, some leaving due to the heat or isolation, whilst new arrivals such as myself coming in constantly. It has a real can-do feel about it. So I've changed my location. Has anything else changed? Well, on the bird front, the bird life is absolutely phenomenal up here. This is just a week's worth. I'm just filming within 10 metres of where the truck is parked in the middle of Palmerston. On the work front, I've gone from being a depressed middle-aged builder in an even more depressed building market that shows no sign of change to being a skilled worker in high demand. And I now feel I have a good 10 years of well-paid employment ahead of me, which is a massive change on what I had in Hobart. I only wish I had done it the day after the global financial crisis struck.